I'm going to show you another way to look at intraday rotation. I'll go into the designer, I'll go to all securities, I'll click through to the warehouse view, bring it up, and then I'm going to go down to in my intraday views to the industry group movement intraday. And the first one is stocks and groups intraday. And you can see that this filled in with the latest information. And this serves a couple of purposes. Not only can I see which groups are moving up, I can also see the stocks that are assigned to groups and the number of stocks that are appearing in each of these views. So this is stocks and groups. Intraday, these are the ones that are up. These stocks are up and these stocks are down. So even though we're getting a strong bounce in the Qs and also the composite, by the way, both are off of their highs now, I can see that the internals are not all that strong for the broader market. There are 1,046 securities that are assigned to groups that are up, and there are 1,938 that are down. So it is nearly a 2-to-1 ratio on the downside. Now if I go back to the groups that are up and I go to the spectrum analyzer and bring this up, I can move up to the industry, click on that, and this gives me a instant view of the dominant groups that are up today. And you can see biotech is 5.54% of this, application software 5.26, specialty pharma, and here are those semiconductor devices. REITs and banks are also doing well. Now if I go to the other side or to the down, the REITs, there's a large number of REITs that are to the downside too. So this, what this filter does, or what these filters do, they go in and look for stocks that are up intraday, and it gives me a quick read on which are the dominant groups. Now I see that 6.04% of the downside are REITs, and if I go back to the upside, only 3.25% are up. So I can tell immediately that there is much more downside pressure on the REITs than there is upside pressure. Let's take a look at the biotechs. That's a huge group. 5.5% are up and 3.72% are down. So once again, I can tell that there is more buying pressure in the group than there is selling pressure. On the downside, specialty pharma is 4.13%. Let's see if we can find it on the upside. Specialty pharma, 4.11% compared to 4.13%. So pretty mixed groups. So there's nothing really definitive in that because they're very close. But I like to look at this throughout the day if I'm trading, and just to get a feel where the strength is. I should say strength and weakness. And also I like to get a feel for the breadth of the market, whether it's positive or negative. And as I just pointed out, it's about 2-to-1 negative, even though there is a strong bounce in the tech stocks today. Now I'm going to show you one more thing that I look at daily to determine what's moving, and I'm going to go into my featured bullish prospecting scans, and I'm going to go down to number 6 and number 7. What happens here is these use the smart groups, stocks and groups moving up, and stocks and groups moving up $1 to $15. And if I sort on the raw combo, I can see how many stocks in this group, and there are 100 in the group, in each of these groups, and they have to have had a bullish VPA flag the last 3 days. And you can see that the majority of these stocks are not following through today. So there's no continuation. So that, what does that tell me? It tells me that there is some rotation out of these stocks that were doing very well yesterday. So if I go to the 1 to 15 group, and once again, there had to be a bullish VPA flag the last 3 days. And out of this group of 100, there are only 4 stocks that are positive today. So some of these stocks that were moving up previously, like in the food group and so on, there's profit taking going on. And all that information is available just by flipping back and forth. Now, if I want to eliminate the indicators, I'm just going to go back down to my top-down process, and I'm going to go to my scorecard intraday. Now, this gives us a different picture. Well, I'm in all security, so I'm sorry here. Let me go back to this smart group. I thought that looked a little strange. So, and I just made a mistake there. Let me go back down here. Scorecard intraday, and now I have to actually go into the smart groups, and these are under Woodward and Brown, and I'm going to locate the stocks and groups moving to the upside and the other smart group, which is just below it. Now this way I'm getting 99 rather than 100 for some reason. Let's see what it's got to be a common stock. Maybe that it throws me off by 1, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just illustrating a point here. So I can come in here and I can see which of these groups are following through today, and you can see that most of them are not following through. There is profit taking going on. If I sort on the percentage price change 1 day, only 27 out of the 100 are positive today. If I go down to the bottom here, looks like Delphi Automotive's having a bad day, down 47.13, if that is correct. But a lot of these stocks that were moving up, and I assume this was one of them because it was in here yesterday. Now this is yesterday's candle, this is today's candle, this is yesterday's group, and this is today's group. How do I get this group line updated? By going in and doing that rebuild process, which I showed you in the prior video. That will rebuild the group also. So we're getting some profit taking in some of these stocks that have had big runs, and you can see that the stocks and groups moving to the upside are just, as a rule, not following through today. Some are, but most are not. Now let's just go down to the next group, and you can see it's about the same ratio here. So what do I use this for? Its primary use is to let me see if stocks that were in groups that were moving up yesterday are continuing to follow through, or if there is rotation. This is part of the rotation theme. I wanted to point out that this was the top stock in the top 50 group inclusion report today, and look at this beautiful stock, how this has continued to move up. You can see the fan is in place, and it looks like it wants to go higher. This is in the specialty chemicals group, and look at these growth numbers here. It is not surprising that this stock is moving up and has such a tight chart pattern. That may be one that we all should be looking at. It's getting a test for supply today, or a low volume test. Says low volume test over here. It's also a test for supply, and I can tell that immediately by the rectangle here, which is magenta, because it's in the upper part of its range on very low volume. So that is a test for supply, and buyers are coming in to support this stock. That symbol is VHI. That's it for this video. I'll be doing several more videos showing you the power of HGSI.